Hello, Dominic from BMT Spain, website for beginners to advanced players. And the video of today is practicing the wrist action in the forehand. Now, let me first tell you that there is a difference between flicking or snapping the wrist and what we are going to practice today, flexion against the ball until that neutral or maybe a little bit past that neutral position. So we don't go all the way, this is flicking, this is snapping the wrist. We are going to flexion into neutral. And the motion that we are going to make here, this is the most important part in your stroke. Because in this part here, you are going to make the direction, you are going to make the spin, you are going to make the depth of the ball, and you're going to make the speed of the ball. So this motion is the most important part, and we want to have control over that motion. That's why we are going to practice that consciously, so that afterwards we can do it unconsciously, or you can call it muscle memory. Now, how do we practice that motion? We will start in contact. Now I have here a closed position. You can also practice that in the open position, and I want my arm in a more like a 45-degree angle. Sometimes you will hit the ball in a 30-degree, sometimes in a 60-degree, but let's say that the 45-degree angle is known as the most strong position, and that's why if we can, we will practice in that position. And the first step is that we will get the racket back. We will have it in that leg position. If you watch the professionals and you turn, this is the leg position, the 90-degree angle they talk about, the L shape. So we will bring it from that position into that leg position, and from here we will just turn that racket consciously out of our hand against the ball. So this is what we call our wrist motion, the wrist action, turning that racket from that leg position here against the ball. Now, this is the first step. Why we are practicing first this? You will also see if your arm is in that position, and a lot of players who squeeze too hard on the racket, they need to have the ball way in front, because if your arm is in that position, if you watch Nadal, Federer, all the big ones, they are around that position. If you stay in that leg position, you cannot hit the ball. So from here until there is a lot of wrist action, and this is what we are practicing today. Also, this exercise will help you for those people who squeeze too hard to get that wrist looser, because if you have to turn that racket against the ball, that means that you need that looser wrist. And this is also a part of the practice, becoming consciously and getting that wrist looser so you can have more racket acceleration. Now, this was the first step from the leg to the contact. We are not ready in the neutral position, this comes later. You just want to get that loose wrist, and just turn the racket consciously against that ball. The second part, we go from here, our arm parallel to the baseline or to the net, because in this position, this is where we are going to start to accelerate the racket against the ball. If we have our motion, once we are here, this is where we are going to start to accelerate the racket. So we are not going with our arm. From here, the racket start to accelerate. And this part, this is where you have to start to feel that wrist motion. And from here, you flexion against the ball, you flexion against the ball. This is step 2. You also do that 15-20 times or more if you want. And then step 3 is from that preparation. We make that turn and we flexion here against the ball, becoming consciously that you turn that racket out of your wrist here, out of your hand. BMT, plays out of the hands. So become aware of that flexion motion or that wrist action. And then we go to step 4. This is where we're going to start to have that flexion into neutral. So the 3 same steps. From here, we are going in that leg position, and we flexion into that neutral position. Also, you do this how many times you want, 10, 15, 20. Second step again, but you go into neutral, and again from here, feel the acceleration from the racket, and you go into neutral. Once you have that neutral position, the pronation will take over. So I want you to focus to finish I call it the hand motion, but let's say the wrist motion for this video. You finish your wrist motion and then the pronation and the shoulder will take over. And so I forgot the third step, so we need to turn into that neutral position. Yeah. Once you're here, you can also start to flexion in the direction. It's one of my other videos. So if you're here, I want to play in the backhand of the other one, I'm flexion in the direction. If I want to play in his forehand, I need to play more over there. Well, I flexion in the direction and I'm more in the forehand. And then the last step is always finish. Yeah, I also have my t-shirt. It's all about the finish. So now I flexion and I finish. I flexion, making that wrist motion consciously here against the ball, and I finish. You will see once you are here, yeah, that pronation, because of the speed of the racket, that pronation here will happen naturally. You don't have to think about it. So if you make a good wrist motion, yeah, then the racket will go up anyway. And that's why if you have here a good motion, you don't even have to think about it. You will go automatically into your neck or over that shoulder. So the steps from contact, from that leg position, from the acceleration position, from the preparation position, then from that position again into the flexion motion, from the acceleration into the flexion motion, and from the preparation to the zero, and then the complete stroke. These are the 7 steps that I want you to practice to become conscious of the wrist action that you can use in the forehand, which will help you to have a good direction, a good spin in the ball, and a good speed in the ball. So this was the video for today. Thank you for watching. See you in another video.